Everybody packed?
Yeah.
All of you stay behind me. I'm gonna take them out to the sand.
What about you? You ready?
Let's do it.
Is that gum on Michael Beck's cheek?
Good evening and welcome to the Music Relish Show, episode 110.
Yes.
With your brothers in broadcasting, Lou, Mark, and Perry. Guess who is who?
Yeah.
But I got something before we do anything.
Music Relish! Come out to play! Where's my knife? Where's my knife?
Don't bring a knife to a gunfight.
What was the name of that movie?
The Warriors.
The Warriors. Now, let me ask you this. I enjoy it, but, is that post-apocalyptic?
No, it's just a Hollywood image of the city.
Because there's no cops, there's no
It's high
people.
fashion gang warfare.
At least if it were, post-apocalyptic, I can understand that. There's nobody around, just gangs,
Yeah, I see what you mean. There's no passerbys eating a hot dog off a hot dog cart.
Right,
Or
no
whatever.
cops. Yeah.
No cops at all. And highly stylized gang members.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a team with baseball uniforms or something, right? A team, I called them.
And wasn't that John Bon Jovi in his first movie role? Who's the lead guy? Looks like Bon Jovi.
Who?
I don't know the guy with the knife.
Oh, yeah.
That's Michael Beck.
I don't know his name.
That's Michael Beck.
Yeah.
But I do know the guy going, Warriors, come out to play. Remember him in the Spike Lee movie?
What movie?
Do the right thing.
Crooklyn. He was the guy next door.
I didn't see Crooklyn.
He was the next door neighbor playing the organ with all the dogs. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah. He's a character
Pops and
actor, yeah.
Buggies.
He was also in 48 Hours also, too. Yeah.
He looked like the guy in Waterworld, a.k.a. Fish Tar, that Kevin Costner fought on the boat.
It's the same thing. That's post-apocalyptic, though. You know what I mean?
Well,
I could deal with that,
Sure. I wish I had gills. You know why? I'd be a friend of the fish.
Yeah, you could breathe underwater.
So tonight, this week on the Music Relish Show, episode 110, we have random relish topics. We have some video of Boz Scaggs playing his song called Lowdown, if you ever heard of it, right? Music trivia. Steve Gadd does a drum solo, original demos of hit songs, and extra fun stuff. And it's all good. It's all good, as we say.
It's all here. Yep.
Yes. So right. Comenzo Festival.
Yeah. What else is happening?
Yeah, well, I got a random thing and a little something close to my heart. Slingerland drums are back. If you didn't know they were gone, Slingerland drums basically gave it up in the early '80s. They got bought by Gibson, went to the power rock format of big drums, which didn't seem to work for them in that era. Maybe just wasn't something people wanted from Slingerland. They were owned by Gibson at that time. Gibson recently sold them to DW Drums. So what that means is they're going to be really expensive. DW drums.
I've seen the DW logo on many drum sets. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Max Weinberg plays DW drums. Neil Peart, I think one of the last tour, I think he was playing DW drums for a while. You see them in retail. Sometimes at Guitar Center they have a little smaller kit, and they are pricey, but I'm sure they're expertly made. Obviously. So I went on their page, and what Slingerland is doing now, they're just making snare drums right now. Drum kits will follow. I suspect they'll do what Ludwig did, where Ludwig had the same situation. I don't know who bought Ludwig or who owns them now. And they brought out a newer line. So they have a very $500 budget line of kits, or a really expensive. I think I mentioned this previously too, of the classic set. Everything looks like a Ringo kit in different finishes.
We have talked about some drums.
Yeah. But so I suspect Slingerland will do the same thing, but.
Cool.
That's my brand.
You've got a Slingerland kit. Right?
Yes, I do. So my recently
refurbished we'll be doing
Slingerlands.
that in the near future about your guitars and your drums and.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yep.
My collection of fun instruments.
Yeah.
And we got any random stuff? Any off the cuff? Mark?
A couple drummers got fired this week. It's not good.
Fired from their day jobs because they're all.
Yeah, the 7-Eleven fired.
They're not delivering pizzas anymore.
They're civil engineers.
Foo Fighters fired their drummer, Josh Freese. Josh Freese had played with A Perfect Circle, among many other bands.
Played with lots of people, that name, yeah.
His little post about it said, the Foo Fighters called me Monday night to let me know they've decided to go in a different direction with their drummer. No reason was given. Regardless, I enjoyed the past 2 years with them, both on and off stage, and I support whatever they feel is best for the band. In my 40 years of drumming professionally, I've never been let go from a band, so while I'm not angry, just a bit shocked and disappointed. But as most of you know, I've always worked freelance and bounced between bands, so I'm fine. Stay tuned for my top 10 possible reasons Josh got booted from the Foo Fighters list. Maybe he got
good.
I think he got another woman pregnant and had a love child. Maybe
Who
that's
knows?
what it
Who
was.
knows?
Mark, come on, man.
That was in social media.
Mark,
That was one of the reasons.
that page 9. What is that English thing? Well, the tabloid shit.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
Josh
what
Freese
the-
used
What are the
to be-
Spice
used to be
Girls
Paul
doing, Mark?
Westerberg's drummer.
The
What's that? Josh Freese played for Paul
I think he
Westerberg?
was his drummer on an album or so. Like,
He's a
still
good-
get
he's a very
studio
good drummer.
work, Yeah.
Yeah.
whenever you hear the term "we're going in another direction," that sounds very corporate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I've
Nothing
been
else.
fired. I've been
Nothing
fired
against Dave
with
Grohl and
those
the Foo
terms.
Fighters.
Yeah. We're
he
going in
got,
another
he got stuck.
direction.
I like the reason. I'm looking. I like to follow up on the reasons why. His top 10 reasons why he got let go from the Foo Fighters.
You know,
Like, what-
they're like a family. They do live together when they record, and maybe they didn't feel he was hitting them that way because they have gotten rid of people in the past that didn't fit in like in
Yeah,
a
it's
family
like Pete
way.
Best and
Who
Ringo,
knows?
man. Ringo fit, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Even though Pete Best was a better drummer, we could just fit in better.
Great
Oh,
sense
boy.
of time. Great sense of time.
And guess what was released 59 years ago today? Pet
Love Me
Sounds,
Do.
the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds, the
Wow.
greatest pop album of all time. Next year we'll do a big hullabaloo. How much Hal Blaine played on it?
Wow.
By then we'll have the Hal Blaine alert.
I have a thing on Pete Townsend. He was, I guess they were 20-something years old, and this is what he said. Pete Townsend reviews The Who's My Generation. I hate it. It's rubbish. It's crap. Says Pete Townsend on the new LP.
Wait, is that from 60? Is that his quote
That's from 65. Yeah.
That's hysterical.
Yeah.
You know, what do you guys? Are you guys Who fans?
I am.
I have
Not
their greatest
big,
hits. That's
but-
all I have.
Yeah.
I love Tommy.
I don't.
But Quadrophenia is one of my favorite albums ever.
Yeah,
But then Odds and
really.
Sods, I'm like, when they get boring, they're boring. You know, that's always.
Well, that's
how
what I mean.
felt
Like
about it.
Pete Townsend calling My Generation rubbish because he's already thinking, about rock operas and,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way he is. And,
Yeah.
there was a movie about Big Star, right? It's called Nothing Can Hurt Me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here's the,
In the 90s, it was established that Big Star were great.
Everybody feels pain. Not everybody turns that into that kind of art.
Real authentic pain, real authentic loneliness,
Yeah.
things that would become alternative music 20 years later.
there's Michael Stipe.
Sometimes lack of success forces you deeper within yourself. And that is the best thing about the Big Star story.
3 records.
Love their logo.
3 kick-ass records. I don't count the latest thing from a couple years ago with Ken Stringfellow or no, that's not Big Star. When Alex Chilton's the only one alive, or
That was rather abrupt.
no, that was a preview.
Okay, I think
Yeah.
Mark was in the middle of a sentence.
Were you?
It was big news. It was big news.
What was the big news?
No, that what you did. That's cool. I can't wait to see that.
Oh, it came out 10 years ago, though, so
Oh,
you
it
can, you
did?
can find it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And no, you know what? Actually, what I was going to say was you were talking about Pete Townsend. Speaking of Pete Townsend,
Yeah.
they fired Zach Starkey again, and it's fine.
Again?
Yeah. Guess who they hired? They hired Roger Daltrey's drummer from his solo band for their final tour. Final.
Yeah,
tour.
I've heard a few of
Who's
those
he?
final record. They made final albums too, right? In the final tours. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be replaced by Scott DeVores from Daltrey's solo band. Never
Yeah.
heard of him, but I just think
He won't play for
maybe
that.
But now that they're
Maybe-
80, I believe it would be their last tour. You know.
Why can't he play with those little wood dowley sticks? Like when you want to play low volume, just beat those things around.
I mean, if Daltrey got mad about weed, he got mad about this and that. He probably got mad that Zach was playing too heavy. It's probably true, So, whatever. Zach will get a gig. He's fine.
Of course he
No-
will.
nothing
Just
would
like
be
Jason
communicated.
Freese.
Like he only did it one time. He just went up there and was bashing away, and they fired him. And there's always more than that.
Yeah.
They decided to go in another direction.
But also think about Roger Daltrey, right? If this is really our last tour, I'm going to give it to my friend, the drummer who played on my solo records. Like, it's politics, man. It's like, okay, it's cool.
And The thing is, Zach says that he was asked to make a statement saying he had quit, and he said, "I'm not doing that." So he said, "I got fired." No bad blood, but he said, "I got fired."
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What else? What else could they call it?
Yeah.
Right. What else can you call it? Right.
Right. Why are you no longer there? I always say we decided to part company. I guess if you say you got fired, you got fired. You got sacked.
Well, it's like in the Wilco documentary, I Am Trying to Break Your Heart, when Jeff stood up because, he's the boss, Jeff Tweedy, and he told Jay Bennett, I don't think I can make music with you anymore. I mean, that's a mature way of handling it. Yeah. It's not like I hate it, it's not funny, it's out,
Yeah. Or that's what I was saying, but it was his way of also saying, or it didn't have to be said, that you overstepped your bounds a bit.
Who, Jay Bennett?
It seems like he overstepped his bounds a bit.
Oh yeah.
That's
assuming there was an equal partnership.
Yeah.
But
for anyone
if
out
you're doing
there,
one guy's songs.
Yeah, anyone out there, there's a documentary about Wilco. It's called "I Am Trying to Break Your Heart."
Yep.
And it's about the making of the great album Yankee Hotel Foxtrot.
Oh, yeah. It's a great documentary, but it's not very light.
Well, you see him puke in the toilet.
Well, it's something. It begins a documentary, but it's the dissolving of part of a band. Which didn't expect.
There's a lot of weight on Jeff Tweedy's shoulders with that at that time, and Wilco is definitely not a democracy, but there's a reason, because Jeff Tweedy's so damn good. Why would he cede any of that direction to somebody else? It's his band.
Maybe Uncle Tupelo was an attempt at a democracy, and that didn't work.
Yeah.
Even REM said, Michael Stipe said, every band has politics.
Yeah. Well, you heard the story about when Jeff Tweedy and Jay Bennett both were in Mexico at the same time. They didn't know it. They were both at the same resort in Mexico. And they hadn't seen each other in 20 years or whatever.
Hey, buddy.
And they're walking on the beach and like, hey, how you doing? Nobody stopped to chat, nothing.
That's weird. Did they? I can't even imagine what people are going through. Like, they were just awkward, I guess.
Yeah.
You guys have a favorite psychedelic hit single? Favorite psychedelic song?
Not a favorite. I mean, it changes all the time.
Yeah, I have one that I always go to, and I would never turn off: Incense and Peppermints.
I think mine would be the White Rabbit, or what's that, Pink Tambourine or Green Tambourine?
Green Tambourine with the lemon pipers.
Yeah,
that was a fluke.
That's considered bubblegum, I thought. Like
it's psychedelic. I think it's considered psychedelic.
Yeah.
So
I like
what was
Incense
it?
and Peppermints
Strawberry Alarm Clock.
What's that?
Incense Peppermints. Strawberry Alarm Clock.
Yeah. It was produced by a guy named Frank Slay.
No, you gonna play some of it?
No, it was just something I heard the song the other day. I always liked it. It's got my favorite drum break in it. I think for a psychedelic, it's got psychedelic elements, but it's real pop.
Yeah,
and it's the reason why it's still around.
Yeah.
But it's a well known.
And psychedelia had to have
not
a
the great.
keyboard,
There's no
too.
such thing as the greatest psychedelic thing. It's nothing about that. It's just one of my favorite pop singles. Actually, it happens to be a psychedelic song.
Yeah, cool.
But, he wrote Silhouettes. You know that song, Silhouette.
Yeah, an old like doo-wop sort of thing.
It was done by Ermin's Ermits.
Ermin. So would you consider White Rabbit psychedelic? I do, but I kind of do. Some may.
I consider it.
Yeah, lyrically anyway.
You feel like you're doing drugs.
Yeah, of course, it's psychedelic. It mentions mushrooms.
And Alice is 10 feet tall. That's like one of the few songs I like by Jefferson Airplane.
Franks, you slay me. Right,
what else you
got? We got any yacht rock in the house?
Yacht rock.
Any yacht rock in the house?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like dancing.
Never heard it before. Never heard it. What song this could be? Oh, I see Michael McDonald.
Slick.
Oh, it's the New York Soul
Just
Review.
because he's got white hair doesn't mean it's Michael McDonald.
Yeah, really.
It's got flute, man. Hey, Beavis, it's got flute in it. Good drummer.
I gotta tell you, this guy's voice never lets him down, man.
Yeah.
And he's not a spring chicken here either, you know?
That's the New York Soul Review. I'm kicking myself for not going to see that.
New York Soul
What a-
Review. No, that was called the Dukes of September.
Oh, 'cause
Boz
it was the
Scaggs
New
was in a
York Soul
band
Review.
with Donald Fagen and Michael McDonald, and that was the band. Yeah.
That's the holy trinity of yacht rock.
Yeah, because they also toured under another name. I guess. Yeah, that's cool.
Well, let's.
Yeah,
see.
well, I mean, that sounded great. Sounds
Yeah.
great. Nice guitar. Is that
Yeah,
Boz
it's-
playing?
No,
perfect.
that's a guitar player. But it's Lou
No.
Shelton did the original though.
Yeah.
Is that the guy that Is that the guy that joined the Eagles playing the solo? It looks like him.
That
I
might
think
be a
that's the guy that
Gibson.
replaced
Is that
Felder.
Stuart Smith?
Might be.
Might be an ES390. That Gibson. That is Michael McDonald, dude.
It is.
That drummer is good.
It's very jazzy. Very jazzy.
Oh, that's so good.
I like two songs by Boz Scaggs. This song and the Lido Shuffle. That's it.
You don't like what's the one?
Carolina. We're alone now.
Get it? It's over and it's over.
It's over. Yeah,
It's
that's a good one.
over. It's over. Can't you get it through your head?
Sappy yacht rock.
There's a couple more. Let's see where
And,
we go.
didn't he do? Didn't he do
Didn't he do
there's
what?
more.
Didn't he
The
do what?
song Rita Coolidge did.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
all alone.
That's he
Close
did
the
the original.
window.
Yeah.
He wrote it. Yeah.
Let me skip past this trumpet solo.
Called Yacht Horn.
Wow. I feel like going sailing, Lou. I feel like going sailing and smoking weed.
Boz has a nice guitar.
Background singers are perfect.
Everything is perfect.
There you go.
Perfect.
Even grumpy Donald Fagen's playing perfect.
Yeah.
When Lou was a kid, when he heard Boz Scaggs, he goes, "He sounds like Cleveland from The Family Guy."
And then there might be in the last clip where they're just vamping and Donald Fagen's playing like these jazzy things over it. Like, oh yeah, jazz,
Yeah.
Donald Fagen. I don't get the connection. Do you? Yeah. He's playing some custom guitar. I think it's a Fender P bass or a Fender Jazz.
Grouch.
There's Fagen. The sound must have been excellent wherever this was. Yeah. You hear Fagen in there banging out those jazzy chords and
Yeah.
He's
that was an
confident on
interesting
those jazz
rendition of
chords,
that
man.
song.
What's that?
Interesting rendition of that song.
To me, it's just like the record. They nailed it. That drummer really is
He's
impressive.
good. He's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a little thing I know. It's hard to explain
What?
from the drum point perspective. When in the beginning of the song, he's
Yeah.
going like 2-4-2, and then he goes pat. He does, he goes on the one with the snare instead of the kick drum. It's a different. You can't point it out, but it's just a weird way of turning the beat around. It's just a very interesting trick Jeff Porcaro did on the original.
It transition. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's just instead of going boom, crack, instead of hitting the kick drum, he hits the snare.
Right.
And it's but that could throw someone off if they're not hip to it. But I was waiting for the drummer to do it. He eventually did. Good band. Hot
Yeah.
band.
Do you want to do some trivia la musica?
When we hear this later on, when we do the show, when we listen to the show later on, we can hear the talk. When we're talking over the video, I can't hear anything. So, did you mention, Mark, that it might be Stuart Smith on guitar?
I think it's Stuart Smith who replaced Don Felder in the Eagles.
That's a chameleon.
I will disagree with that.
It looked like him, and he had the posture of him. I think it's him. Well,
Really?
Can we check it out? Is there a way we can find
you
out?
mentioned that Louis Shelton of the Wrecking Crew fame, and
Did the
producing
original
the
guitar
solo,
parts,
guitar solo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look it up, Mark.
Look it up, Mark.
Dukes of September.
Dukes of December.
Yeah. And Lowdown with
the Dukes
that
of
might
August.
have been in Lincoln Center or something. Who knows? You know,
It looks like an A&E type.
With
of
Bob Scaggs, filling in for his brother Boz.
Bob Scaggs.
Speaking of Boz, too bad Boz Burrell won't be with Bad Company when they get inducted.
Yeah, and they're going to play. By the way, has that ceremony happened yet?
No, not yet.
It won't be televised.
I heard
It'll be
on the radio it's
streamed,
coming
right?
out. It's what?
It won't be televised. It'll be streamed.
The revolution will not be televised.
Right.
The rock and roll.
Gil Scott Heron.
I think Billy Idol should stage a protest. He should be like he was on the Sinatra group and kick some ass.
Mark just gave me the up yours. It probably is.
No,
that
I'm doing
guy.
Billy Idol. Just to let you
okay.
know, the guy that played drums, I hate to backtrack, but the guy that was playing
We just
drums.
saw it. I'm not backtracking. Yeah.
Come on, man.
So the guy that plays, the name is Shannon Forrest. I thought he looked familiar. He's been with Toto for the last 5 years. He's
okay.
He's better.
Sorry.
I would
Sorry
almost
for
say that he's better than who's the guy that was in Toto?
Jeff Porcaro.
No. The guy after him. The guy that played with Townsend. God, what's his
Simon
name?
Phillips.
Simon Phillips, technically an awesome drummer, but this guy Shannon fits the groove
Okay.
Carol.
If I'm gonna here for a second, I'm gonna be the role of the asshole on the drum forum. He's just another Jeff Porcaro clone. That's all he is.
Yeah, he's a 2-bit Jeff Porcaro.
That sounds like you, bro.
Oh, because I said Prince is a 2-bit Curtis Mayfield.
What does 2-bit mean? What are 2 bits? 50 cents?
50
What's a
cents,
bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
A bit is a
Half a
quarter.
buck.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, Perry, you're right. That
Sure,
was
you
John
got a haircut.
Harrington on guitar. John Harrington, not Stuart Smith.
You owe,
Looked like Stuart.
You owe Perry an apology.
I'm sorry.
Apology, Senator. Apology.
I will not
This podcast
say
demands an apology.
I did not lie about that guitar player, John Harrington.
Yeah, do you want to do some trivia la musica?
Sure.
No, I don't.
You don't? Okay. What do you want to do then?
Sure.
Perry, one more thing.
As long as we're having fun, let's roll with the trivia. Let's just roll it.
Okay. Just one more thing really quick.
Yeah.
That was a Lincoln Center performance, and it was on PBS Great Performances, which means we could probably find it. PBS probably has it on
it
their
might
website.
not make the show.
That's a paranoid broadcasting system, right?
They do Kid Charlemagne.
All right, I've got a trivia question.
Okay.
I've got a question here. What is
we
the
got
only
answers.
hit in the United States for status quo?
I can't
They
remember the
had
name of that
so
song.
many hits in the UK, so many. I mean, dozens of them, you know? But in the U.S., they've only ever had one hit.
I know it.
This is one of those bands I never knew who the hell they were, and I still don't.
They're kind of like Slade. They're huge in England and the UK, but over here, yeah. But they've had one charting hit in this country.
Was it a big charting hit? Moderate? Was it like
It
on
was-
salsa? Describe a salsa medium.
It was top 20, I believe.
Was it in
That's
the
medium
19...
hot. Medium hot.
Yeah.
Was it in the 1960s?
Yes, it
No.
was. It was in the 1960s.
I can't remember the name of it. I know once you play it, I'll know it.
I would gauge it about 67 or 8.
Yeah. And you know it when you hear it. You're like, wow, that was status quo.
It's called Flower of Love.
Okay.
Fuck a duck, man. On Beethoven. Psychedelic.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the status quo.
That was status quo, yeah. Yep.
And you know who wrote it? Francis wrote it.
Francis?
from that army movie with Bill Murray. Francis.
Meatballs. They're cadets. What's it called? The Last
Francis
Castle.
Rossi.
All right, this one is a Van Halen trivia question.
Lou's got it.
Don't be so.
Can you name the only Billboard Hot 100 #1 hit from the band Van Halen?
Jesus.
They only ever had
Jump.
number 1 on the Hot 100.
It's probably a Sammy Hagar or something, but I'm saying Jump. Yump.
You say
They're
Jump?
Dutch. They're Dutch, so it's Yump.
Okay.
I'm going to go with it's got what it takes. Why can't this be love?
Sounds like
That's a good call, but it is
Jump.
Yes.
Lou's got it.
Ow.
That's the album cover.
What's with the kid with the cigarettes, dude? Like, you have the silliest friggin' covers.
I kind of like it.
It's stupid. It's dumb.
just stupid. It's immature. It's idiotic.
It's Van Halen. Everything they did was immature.
Well, yeah, but I think given his passing and I don't know.
Yeah.
Stuff
Was that supposed to be Eddie with the cigarette? Maybe Eddie's an angel.
Was there? Yeah. Anyway.
I like that album because my father was very religious, so I would put it when he came up the stairs, he could see it.
I always thought a certain presidential candidate should use that in their campaign since it kind of rhymes. Might as well.
Yeah.
Might as well.
You got to pay for the clearance.
Can I get a rim shot?
Pay for the clearance, though.
I'll get permission.
Unless it's
That's not a political statement. That's just like I'm thinking like a consultant.
All right, here's one.
Perry, it's all hype right, man. It's all hype right.
Yeah, I'm proud to be a Pelican. Well, at least I know I'm free.
Well, you guys are too on for me tonight.
Are we still doing music trivia?
Here, okay.
Back to music trivia.
Okay. What is Donovan's only number 1 hit in the U.S.?
First there is a mountain, then there is no mountain. That's not it.
I'm gonna go with Sunshine Superman.
You're gonna go with Sunshine Superman, and Lou, you were doing Jennifer Juniper. Was that it?
No, that was the mountain. Was that Sunshine? Was it You're Going to Be Mine? Was that Sunshine
That's
Superman?
the one Mark said.
Yeah.
That's Sunshine Superman. You're
Yeah.
both going with that?
Yeah.
Well, you're both right.
Two.
Epic Records.
Now, I know John Paul Jones was on that. Was Jimmy Page on that? John Paul Jones was the arranger.
Led Zeppelin played on Hurdy Gurdy Man.
Okay.
What became
John Paul Jones
turned
was
into
on
Led
that
Zeppelin
one,
played on Hurdy Gurdy Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know who the drummer is, but they said that I thought there was some contention, like maybe
There's always
Fast
going to
Eddie.
be that. Yeah.
Well, I think Fast Eddie Host said he played on it, but someone else said they played on it.
Right, but if you listen to it, it's John Bonham all the way.
It's not John Bonham playing though.
Not on this record. On Hurdy Gurdy Man, it is.
That's not John Bonham though.
Well, okay. Well,
that's
Donovan
I heard.
Donovan says it's John Bonham.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard it was Page and Jones.
Well,
you know what? Let's let that one lie. Okay. We'll how about we research that in the future?
Yeah. Well, I think
I'm
Mark's
researching
doing
it now.
Donovan says it's John Bonham on drums.
they actually,
I would believe it. It sounds like
two drummers though too. I mean,
right.
right?
Also, I think that's one of those things where there were different charts for different days. Come on, these people. It's 1966 or whatever.
Yep.
There could have been 3 different drummers playing on it. All Pete Best.
Yeah. All it says is that Donovan says that John Bonham. So I'm likely to believe Donovan saying that. I am inclined to believe it, but they don't list who played on the song in the. So yeah.
Well,
it was the 60s.
Anyway, here's one about Joe Cocker, I believe. Right.
The Cockman.
Who played bass on Joe Cocker's version of "Feeling All Right"?
Steven Stills.
Stills.
Holy shit! we got to go with that.
It was almost in stereo.
We got to go with that.
We're
wrong. We got to go with it.
Oh, you're very wrong. Boom, 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 boom.
Well, why did we say that?
Carol K.
Carol K. Get the F out.
Yeah.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee Carol K.
Yep.
The very opinionated Carol K. Yeah.
That picture of Joe Cocker looked like from one of those horror movie mags of the 60s.
Kind of looked like John Belushi to me.
That was Carol K playing bass on that.
That's Carol K. What a great bass line, too. And even when I heard it on the radio, I'm going boom, 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 boom.
Oh, of course you.
Never knowing it was her.
Mark, why did we say Steven Stills at the same time?
Because he played bass on...
There's a certain maybe it's just the rhythm. It sounds like Stephen Stills. It sounds like his Caribbean influences or whatever.
He played bass on a big.
It was at
somebody.
the place in Miami.
Criterion.
Yeah, with Clapton, I think, or something.
Yeah.
He played bass on, "Let It Rain," something like that. Yeah.
Good song, "Let It Rain."
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, here's one still pertaining to that song. All right. Who did the original version of "Feeling All Right"?
Dave Mason. Dave Mason.
I concur.
All right, well, I'll give it to you because it's Traffic.
Delaney Bobby. Traffic. Mucho Tráfico. Dave Mason was in Traffic.
Yeah,
Dave Mason of Traffic.
Dave Mason was in Traffic. Yeah, with Stevie. Steve. Imagine if Steve Winwood played woodwinds as his instrument. That would be funny, wouldn't it?
It was like that. Was that guy named Steve Horn that plays the saxophone? Is there like a Jim Horn plays horns? This is like a Philip Phillips that plays like the Phillips.
We have an anesthesist at the hospital called Dr. Goodnight. No joking.
That's someone else.
We also have one named Michael Jackson.
So when was Dave Mason? What era of Traffic? It had to be after.
Yeah, he left. He was first, I think he left. They started in '67. I think in late '68 he left.
Oh yeah,
he left before Traffic. What are you guys' opinions?
Well, Dave Mason's hard to work with. I think he rejoined and he left. I kind of did a deep dive on a couple of his solo albums. He's got good songs, but I wouldn't say I'm a big Dave Mason.
What do you think about Traffic?
Me neither. But
Traffic.
Look, we covered a couple of weeks ago. He played 12-string on the Jimi Hendrix version of "All Along the Watchtower." Right?
What did you think of Traffic, though?
I like the later jazzy sounding stuff over the early. So from Low Spark or High Hill Boys on, I liked them. I like the early stuff, but I don't go nuts over it.
When I was a little kid, they were just too sophisticated for me.
Most of the sound never grabbed me.
I didn't get it. Yeah.
Steve Wynn, I
don't
hate
know
to
if the
say
jazz
this.
thing worked for me. At that,
I'll say this:
Right.
Steve Winwood, as good as he is a singer, he's boring sometimes. You know,
well, he sings at the top of his range all the time. It's sometimes like "Sea of Joy." That's a great song. That's a great riff.
Yeah.
But he's singing at the very top the whole time. It's like there's no room to go anywhere else.
And those hits he had in the '80s, I didn't like them when they came out. I don't like them now.
Oh, like
Higher Love and all those. I just don't like.
What's
them.
the other one? When you get to.
Well, there's the one. Doom doom bam Bennett. When you see a chance, take it.
Oh
I'm not crazy about it.
That's Kenny Loggins. That's Kenny Loggins and Stevie Nicks.
Oh yeah, it's the song Caddyshack when Bill Murray was.
No,
You're
right. That's Steve. That's Ark of a Diver.
Right. Yeah.
That's Ark of a Diver. You're right.
Yeah.
That was his big comeback album, and it was just like dull.
Well, I still feel like going on a ship and taking a sailing and smoking some weed on a sailing ship now. Like after
He's
that,
back on
after
the
that Boz
yacht
Scaggs
rock
thing.
There's yachts and there's sloops. I'd rather ride on a sloop.
A sloop
John B. Because 59 years ago, Sloop John B. was a single, one of the singles on Pet Squirrels, Pet Sounds record.
Who is Steve Gadd?
Steve Gadd is a drummer extraordinaire, known as a session guy in a lot of ways. His signature, as far as popular music, is that drum intro to 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover by Paul Simon.
Hold the phone.
Hold the phone.
Stephen Gadd on drums.
Steve Gadd.
Tony Levin playing bass.
Tony
That's
Levin.
dangerous. Looks like James Taylor.
That's Toots Steelman playing drums.
The captain.
That's Daryl Dragon?
No.
Toots Thielman.
Oh.
Wow. That beat, man. Look how young Paul Simon was.
Yeah.
That's what he's famous for, really, is this.
You hear the thud of that
And he
tom-tom.
plays that, and they're clapping, they're...
Yeah.
But so he's a session guy, right? He's like Jeff Porcaro and all these guys. They're session guys, right?
I think his thing was 70s into the 80s. And, I mean, of course, these guys still play. But it's also the drummer on Paul Simon's Late in the Evening.
Yeah.
If you listen, it's a pretty complicated drum part.
That is, yeah.
Well, look where he's on 50 Ways. Like, look where his left hand is going to the hi-hat.
But I have trouble getting past the Fender Rhodes piano, dude. Like when that
electric
came
piano,
out,
yeah.
I'm like, this is just too cheesy for me. It's too soft, dude. You know. Like,
I know what you mean, Perry. I mean, it's wonderfully produced and recorded. You know, it's on Columbia Records, I believe. You know, spare no expense. But I know it's that '70s sound.
yeah, was it Phil Ramone who did that? Was it him?
I don't know. I don't know.
All right,
But now Steve Gadd, I mean, do you have anything else with him on video?
We sure do. Yeah.
Okay. Look at his sticks.
Yeah, and it looks like he's playing the blunt end and with his left hand.
Can't tell from here.
Yeah, because they're very skinny, those sticks.
He's being polyrhythmic.
Whoa.
Yeah, these oddball beats. Look at that. Right?
Yeah. Syncopation, ghost notes, lots of ghost shuffling notes, and
but it's all it's in his head though, right? Yeah.
This isn't right now.
That's a pretty big kit, 2-4.
Yeah.
Right?
I want a big kit. I want a big drum set again.
What do you need a big kit for? Be like Ian Pace, man. Rock a 4-piece kit.
That's what I'm doing now, man.
You got to get mutton chops, so.
I'm rocking that one. Yeah, no, but well, Steve Gadd, I can have a big kit. Why can't I?
Because he's Steve Gadd. He's Steve Gadd.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh, that was. Hey, by the way, yes,
He's
you
Steve
guys
Gadd.
are very
You live
astute.
in Nashville.
What's that?
You guys are very astute. Phil Ramone did produce that song.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, it's that sound. It's that soft sound, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Lou, I saw your Slingerland kit with L3 playing it, but I only saw the one. I could only see 2 drums from the angle.
Oh, you saw the bass drum in the first. It's the 4-piece.
I saw a tom and obviously the snare and the kick drum. Yeah.
Right, so it's the 4-piece. It's got my old ride cymbal. It's got 2 crashes. It's a classic kit. 2 crashes, 1 ride, hi-hats, a 4-piece kit.
Well, if I can find a way to share that, I'll put it. Well, maybe we'll put it on the next show or something, you know. But
and we're working on a new song I'm writing.
Cool.
And but also now that I'm old,
and L3 is going to play drums on this new song.
Yeah, yes, he is.
Oh, cool.
Yes, he is. Now attached to my hi-hat, it was kind of hard to see. I have a music stand that rotates because I can't remember lyrics now because I'm older. So if we're playing gigs now, I have a music stand attached to the hi-hat so I can actually keep lyrics.
Michael Stipe uses an iPad, you know.
Well, of course you do.
Yeah.
Well, if you play once a week, you know, as a part-time musician, you know, I can't spend the rest of my whole part week memorizing the lyrics of all these songs that I've never played before. It's like you need some notes.
Well, all right, let's see where Steve Gadd's doing now.
Yeah, more Steve Gadd. I have a Steve Gadd story.
I have some stuff on him too.
He's not that good.
It's that fast left hand.
Yeah.
To me, I don't
That's
see
my
his
final
hand
singing
doing
drum
what I'm
kit.
hearing.
I just have a man of drums like that.
You have double bass, double floor tops?
No, he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that. Like,
Uh-oh, here he goes.
shit.
I love his snare sound.
He's double kicking now, isn't he?
Unless he's got a double kick pedal.
Yeah, he does.
He's the king of triplets, though.
Look at that.
Yeah, he does.
He had a double kick pedal, right? Because it sounded like very metallic in that sense, you know, like very
well, you know,
heavy.
Speaking of metallic, Scott Mitter sent me a video. He says this is the heaviest song on the planet. It was this metal thing.
Yeah.
In the future, there's gonna be like articles about those speed metal drummers and how their bodies have fallen apart.
Oh yeah.
You can't. I mean, how can you keep? I mean, that mechanical precision. I mean, it's pretty amazing. I don't like it. You know, it's not my thing.
Either, but
artistic. I mean, at least as a drummer, at least athletically, you can appreciate that.
You know who started that? Slayer. Slayer started that.
Who?
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. But eventually, like your knees, your hips. I mean, that's I don't know. We'll know in the future.
I think the drummer from Slayer actually just like fell apart. He stopped playing with them because how do you do that for 30 years? You can't.
The drummer from Player?
Baby, come back.
Slayer.
Oh, I thought you said Player. They're Australian
This
group
time
or
I'm in it for love. This time I'm in it to win.
I prefer Player over Slayer. You know? And Steve Winwood played his
that's
main
a hard
instrument
call,
are woodwinds.
Okay, so
can I add something about Steve Gadd? Oh, you're going to talk about Steve Gadd.
Yeah, Steve Gadd.
Add something about Steve Gadd, and I have something to add about Steve Gadd too.
What?
He played. He didn't. You don't have to say this because we know how great a drummer is, but he played with two people that will only hire the best drummers. He played with Eric Clapton. That's when I saw him live, and he played with piano player. What's his name?
Billy Joel.
Chick Corea. If you're going to play with Chick Corea, you got to be. Like, there were very famous drummers that wanted to play with him.
Yeah.
Never did.
Now, did Chick Corea drink? Was his favorite soup Chickarina soup?
No, it's LRH. That's his favorite.
What's LRH?
What's that?
L. Ron Hubbard.
Oh.
No, that's snake oil.
So one day in I guess 86 maybe, I went to a Zildjian Day drum clinic.
Yeah.
I think Vernon, and so Steve Gadd was there, Alex Acuna, Billy Cobham, a couple other drummers. It was a cool drum event. And Steve Gadd, he was the drummer of the moment at that point. He was hot.
Yeah.
So he played with a guitar player named Eve Moon, a Greenwich Village musician. They played some rock. They played some very simple rock. It was nothing. I was expecting 50 ways and but that stuff which he did. But they played some basic rock, and it was pretty cool. Like him simplifying himself. Anyway, it was such an awe thing that when he gets up and he goes, "Does anybody have any questions?" No one said shit. He goes, "Do any of you have any answers?" Which is like there's silence, And he just went back to play, No, like, what are you going to shout out at a drum clinic? What kind of sticks do you use? Speaking of his drum, yeah.
No, go ahead.
And if you look at the sticks, he has a signature drumstick, like a lot of drummers do. It's black. Yeah. It's black. It's kind of shorter. It's not a longest stick. Has a harder, rounder ball at the end. But I don't know if he was. He said he might have been playing the butt end of the stick.
It looked like on his left hand with the traditional grip was playing the blunt end. Yeah.
He had the stick turned on. Well, Levon did that a lot. A lot of drummers do. Hal Blaine did that too.
But from what I've read about this 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover riff, I heard like he just started, and Paul Simon says, "Oh man, that is it." Like in other words, Paul Simon didn't tell him what to play. He just came up with that.
Oh, he couldn't tell him. Do a double Radamacue it's very marching band stuff.
Well, I want to hear
on drums.
Yeah, marching band. That's a good way to put it, Lou.
It's stick control.
Tony Levin.
It was a marching band sort of thing, you said?
All the things that he's doing there, those are drum rudiments. There's all, it's like, the paradiddle's right, left, left, left. It's alternating hand movements.
Yeah, yep.
So they're all variations of that. But I mean, that's what it sounds like he's doing there. It's just, it might be something he's not consciously doing the rudiment, but you end up knowing you're doing it anyway. Like, what's that he's doing there? It's like a fast roll. He looked pretty smug there. Like he's like, that was good.
Oh man, he was on top of the world, like you said, man. He was the man, right?
Right. Plus, how many songs have a signature drum riff?
Right.
And he gets applause just for doing that. Yep.
And you hear that drum at the end?
Yeah.
That's a wide open floor tom-tom. Like I've realized now, like I finally learned how to tune drums properly after all these years. Like you look at all those old photographs of my old band. Like I had like we talked about this. Like they're all muffled with paper towels and shit. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But
well, it depends on the setting too. I think, right?
What's that?
Depends on the setting.
Well,
right?
Yeah, but there's little things you can put on. There's little you can put rings. There's plastic rings you can put on the tom-tom heads to dampen them. I have these little gel circles. It just takes some of the ring out, makes it a little more user-friendly in smaller settings.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, drums.
How the hell did Paul Simon that was an incredible band. Toots Thielman, a legend. Tony Levin, which he played with him for years.
Yeah.
I mean, what a band.
Well, I mean, if you don't know Tony Levin, right? Bass player, King Crimson, Double Fantasy. I mean, just session guy, and a long time. Is he still? He's not in King Crimson anymore.
Yeah, he is. Well, as long as there's a
Peter
King Crimson
Gabriel.
now.
I mean, wasn't Peter Gabriel's bass player for a long time too, right?
Yeah, he always toured. But what he does when he goes back to Kingston, New York, up the Hudson River, is he does the Levin Brothers band. It's him and his brother, and they play around like bars in the Hudson Valley. He just keeps busy. That's kind of cool,
Cool.
Was he on Brothers in Arms? Dire Straits.
I think he was on the song "Something the River" because it sounds like that.
And everyone
tapping
can't
thing.
get no relief from my TV. Boom. It's got funky bass playing. It probably was given the time.
He was on everything.
Yeah.
Don't know. You want to hear some original demos of hit songs?
Sure.
Yeah. Some acetates.
Well, we've heard this in the past, but I just find
Acid?
it interesting. George did this version so Ringo would know what to do.
So where does that fall?
Didn't Ringo write that?
Well, George wrote it, but he just gave Ringo,
Yeah, but Ringo threw in some lyrics. Come on, give Ringo a break.
Yeah, but
who is that singing?
George
Is that George?
was well off enough to be like, you know what, Ringo, we love each other, and
Photograph. Photograph was number 1, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was that George singing?
That was George singing. Yeah, doing his demo version to show Ringo this is how we do it, and this is how it's going to go. Yeah. Yep. What were you saying, Mark?
Was that never made it be on the demo stage though, right? They never released it with George singing?
No.
Yeah.
That was just it.
It's a good demo.
Yeah. Well, here's another demo. Mark, I know you've heard this before. This is a demo that Roger Waters prepared for Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
It's a hit.
Can't get more basic than that.
What time signature is it?
Oh, I forget. What is it? It goes into 4/4 for the guitar solo.
Mm-hmm. 5/4.
Remember.
It's in 5/4.
Okay.
But
Just like
Roger
Take
Waters
5.
wrote it, made up the demo to show the band. That's a cool thing too. You know what I mean? You got a little tape machine at home. You can work up a demo and say, "This is I wrote the song and this is how it goes."
And he played it like a bass, that acoustic guitar.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, it says demo from David Bowie.
Ziggy. Lou, that's 12-string.
Sounds like John Lennon.
It's funny you say that, Lou. I thought the same thing. He's doing a little Lennon vocalization thing there.
Yeah.
I thought the exact same thing, Lou, when I heard it. Yep.
Nice. Zippy Stardust.
Yeah. And, he's a slave to fashion, too, David. David Bowie.
from last week.
With the elephant bell bottoms.
The world's largest bell bottom.
Wait, he had elephant bell bottoms and a blouse on.
Elephant. That's a heard of elephant bell bottoms.
Here's a demo from Bob Dylan.
Once upon a time we guessed to find.
I guess he's doing it on piano.
I think he's got to slow it down.
Jesus Christ. Play that for people that think Dylan can't sing. that was truly terrible.
He's probably high as a kite. You know what I mean? Smoking a box of cigarettes. Right?
Don't make excuses. I heard a funny Dylan quote. When drum machines came around, Dylan was trying to work with one, and he asked the producer, he goes, "Why doesn't it follow me?" It's a fucking drum machine. It's just like any musician that played with Dylan said, you can't follow time. You got to look at him.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Where are we? Here's another demo. Pete Townsend.
Hey.
Just because we get around talking about my generation, things they do look awful cold.
So it was actually Pete that did that stuttering thing, even on the demo. You know what I mean? And he told Roger, "This is the way it's going to go."
They could have sold that song to Kennel Ration Dog Food.
Yeah. And I think Pete
had animated dogs singing.
He had a Rickenbacker 330 there too, I believe, right?
Rickenbacker who?
Rickenbacker 330.
Is that the one you had? 330?
Yeah, yep.
330, 331, whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. Oh, here's a demo from Carole King.
Cool. Natalie Merchant should cover this.
Yeah.
I find it interesting, though, from that demo to where when you bring it in, like give it to the Monkees decide to do it, or when Don Kirshner brought it to the Monkees, or, whatever it was, and how it ended up, Louis Shelton again. Louis Shelton was the guitar player on.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Louis Shelton was the guitar player on Last Train to Clarksville.
Right.
You know what I mean? These guys, but I find that interesting. That Carole King. I like that demo by her.
Yeah.
It's done in a Brill building, probably, right?
Of all those, she was a kind of a legit solo artist too in her own way.
What am
I talking about? She had Tapestry. What am I talking about?
Not in '66, she wasn't.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It was almost like it's singing like a song with someone who's more of a songwriter than a performer, maybe like that kind of thing. Like a lot of those demos, they didn't spend a lot of time on it. They just had to push them across for all the
right. Well, they had a drummer, but they had a studio in the Brill building too, where you can work these things up.
Right.
And in fact, am I wrong that I understand on the Monkees version at the tail end of the song, Pleasant Valley, Carole King is singing the really high part at the end of the song.
Really? Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I've read somewhere, that it's Carole King singing that. Yeah.
Me and Louis heard the whole Monkees theme, the TV show theme today on the 60s channel.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Have you ever heard the whole theme?
I've heard the closing theme, the opening theme. Yeah.
You get the intro, you get the whole song without credits, and it's he's doing Jazz Hi-Hat.
How about the closing theme? In this generation.
Oh yeah, that's right.
In this loving town.
Yeah. So were the Banana Splits patterned after the Monkees?
I don't know. You're a Banana Splits fan. I don't know.
I
tell
like
me.
Sour Grapes. I would think so. I think they came after. I think there was an attempt to have a bestial version since there were monkeys anyway. This is heavy shit, right?
This is very heavy.
There's some heavy shit going down, bro.
My head's gonna blow up. Look,
is there any more original demos of anything?
I need
we're out of steam here.
No, we're not running out of steam.
You've always got something up your sleeve.
We have some. Well, for instance, right?
Wait a couple of seconds after we and cut out the other way.
That's what she
We're
said.
gonna stay with you.
I'm gonna stay with you.
Okay.
Come on.
I had a crush on her.
She's tough.
I proved that.
Watch. I'm gonna break a quart beer bottle on it. That's what I
Love
mean.
that music.
If this were post-apocalyptic, the music even suggests that to me. I could
I
deal
know
with
what you
that,
Yeah.
It was making the city look like a barren landscape because it was kind of like the James, what's his name, Joe Walsh song "In the City." That has kind of the lyrics, same thing.
But I'm going to take him out to the sand. So there's nobody by the beach. Nobody's hanging out by the beach.
Well, I believe in the 70s, Coney Island was kind of a wasteland. It was going through.
It was, but also the fact that no police presence makes these pussies look really tougher.
Right. Like, he's going to break it. He goes, eh.
You get blood on the suede vest. I'm not afraid.
Look, she broke a quart of beer. Look how tough I am. I broke.
She's the toughest one there.
Well, someone tell Michael Beck he's got a slug on his cheek.
Who is that guy?
Hey, it's the worst makeup I've ever seen.
Who is that dude?
He's got a leech on his face. He's got a cicada. It's a cicada.
You know his name, Mark?
Michael Beck, yeah.
That's Michael Beck. Didn't he go on to play more macho roles?
Yeah.
He grew a mustache.
Yeah. That was his first movie, I think.
All right, let's see.
Who was the girl? I like her.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, she's good. She's done a lot of movies.
It's that fucking guy with his castanets again. Here, I got some for you.
That guy was in Crooklyn, the Spike Lee movie. He was the wacky neighbor. He was in 48 Hours. He's a good character actor, that guy.
He is.
Yeah.
Was he in that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie with Ray Don Chong?
Over the Top?
He was.
He probably had a part in that. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a scene where he's driving the car like 80 miles an hour. Arnold pushes him off the highway. He hits a telephone pole at 80 miles an hour. He gets out and he goes, "Why don't you go get fucked, man?" And then Arnold just picks him up and throws him off the cliff.
This is what I don't get. There's no people around.
Was he the guy? Was he the guy in it in Waterworld though? Older?
I don't know if he was in Waterworld. Maybe Mark can find out.
He looks like Marjo Gortner, the old guy that was the Food of the Gods or whatever.
He was the crazy neighbor in Crooklyn, with all the dogs and he used to play like he had an organ in his house and he'd be playing like his Wurlitzer organ, with a
Perry. I had a Wurlitzer organ in my apartment that
so did I.
Zion Lutheran gave me.
Yeah.
Was he Vermin? Was that his name, Vermin?
I don't know. Because
I'm looking at the actors.
Of course it is. Why not?
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, David Patrick Kelly. That's
the
Are
guy's
those little
name?
8-ounce bottles of Budweiser he's rattling
There
together?
might be a Miller. There might be a little High Life, the clear one.
There's a High Life. Make a man change his type of beer.
Oh man, the movies he was in.
I thought
Holy,
you said
Commando.
you didn't see Crooklyn. That's from the movie, dude.
No, that was from Do the Right Thing. That was the mayor. That was Ozzie Davis.
Right, yeah. Crooklyn was a good Spike Lee movie. What were you saying,
Do
Mark?
you know he played Harry Truman in Flags of Our Fathers? He's really done a lot.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's a good character actor. Yeah.
Was he in Waterworld?
Mark was
see
he
it.
in
It
Waterworld?
wasn't him. What's his name?
Yeah.
What's his name?
David Patrick Kelly.
David Patrick
David
Kelly.
Patrick Kelly. Wow.
Petrocelli.
Oh, he also does theater. He sings
Sure.
and he plays music.
All these actors. Look at everyone. They're all multi-talented.
Oh, he was in New York's early rock and cabaret scene. He played
Except for
Max's
Russell
Kansas City, CBGB's.
Cool.
He's quite a guy, man.
Warriors.
Who's got the heebie-jeebies?
Come out to play.
There's a mosquito in here. Someone just beat me on the head.
You want a couple of other extra things?
Can I just go back to one thing Lou
keep
mentioned?
rolling, man. Let's roll.
Keep talking, man. This is
Okay.
music discussion. We're off the
Yeah,
cuff here.
yeah.
We're unscripted.
Okay.
I'm tight.
Yeah.
I'm loose.
Live without
I'm
a net.
tight.
So you mentioned Tony Levin playing on Brothers in Arms.
Yeah.
Were you referring to the song "Why Worry"?
No. This was it was more of a funk. It had a funk beat. Can't get
Okay,
no
'cause
lift from my TV. That
Okay,
ain't
he
working.
He played Chapman's Stick on "Why Worry," but I forgot. And you, Lou, you may have mentioned this on the show a while back, but I was listening to a lot
Put
of
a
Dire
chapstick
Straits.
on my worry.
Yeah. When they recorded the album, Terry Williams, the drummer, they kind of like said, it's not working. You'll stay with the band, but you're not going to record. Do you know who played all the drums on that album?
Was it Omar Hakim?
Yeah.
Steve
They
Gadd.
actually
There's
asked him to
some
say.
contention as to who played the drums on Money for Nothing. Terry Williams says it's him. I think it is. I think it's Terry
It
Williams on that.
says, according to what I'm looking at, he played the intro on Money for Nothing. And then he played the drums on Walk of Life.
Who was the producer?
Neil
Padgham?
Dorfman. Neil Dorfman.
Dale Dorfman, yeah.
Neil Dorfman.
Yeah.
Because it had that
Yeah.
80s Hugh Padgham drum thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was big. It was tight. The drums were big, but they were tighter though. Hugh Padgham had that big. The snare was huge. I mean, Money for Nothing. That's a huge production, but I think the rest of the album is sometimes more understated than that.
I wrote a new song the other day. I haven't finished it yet, but one of the lines in it is, "I don't want my MTV." Is one of the lines in the song.
Good line.
As Mark and I drink simultaneously.
Yeah.
And
I
you
don't
say
know,
a
man.
lot of things in stereo
connected,
sometimes, too.
Yeah, I know. It's Zitgeist brains.
Still on my first glass, so.
You want to see
You
a
don't want-
little?
You don't want Mark Smith in your head.
How about this? A public service announcement from the United States government.
In the government.
Take 10 America to learn the metric way. The simple
Oh, yeah.
based on tens that you can start today. Efficient, more accurate, more universal too. It's good for our economy, our country, and for you.
Take 10 minutes to learn the metric way. Write Metric Education, P.O. Box 111, Washington, D.C. 20004.
You could
So I
say
got a story for
Yeah.
you on that.
You could-
I got
Go ahead.
PTSD. Zion Lutheran, I was in when they were trying to get everyone over to metric.
Yeah.
And the whole class, we all had to learn metric, right? Every kid in my class learned it. I could never get it. I just wasn't smart enough.
You're an
I just
American.
failed it miserably.
Good for you. Be stubborn. You're an American.
You could say to me, "This thing is 20 meters wide." I have no clue.
No.
That's
This
what
was
it is.
me.
If you said it's 300 feet, I could gauge that. You know?
Do you remember Perry, working at Andrew's Liquors when we went to like 750 milliliters and
Yeah,
liters?
instead of a quarts. Yeah.
But we had one of the liters whiskeys said more than a quart. Do you remember the Decibet skit from SNL?
No.
Dan Aykroyd came on and he reduced the alphabet to 10 letters.
Oh, Elemento.
Element. As an element, open the door, please.
Elemento.
I would like some Element orange juice.
I do remember that. That was funny.
It was pretty clever, man. Hotel was like hotel, like GHOT.
Hotel.
Well, let's see, there
The
might be a Sam
Decibel.
Ash thing in here, too. I don't know.
Oh, I was talking about that the other day, man.
The government used to do things like this for you.
Yeah.
How a bill
Metric
becomes a
schmetric.
law.
U.S. Office of Education.
The
This is Sam Ash's pre-inventory sale month. Save on hundreds of guitars.
Is that Christopher
We
Walken?
got guitars. We got
Guitars.
guitars. Sam Ash, we sell guitars.
Come in and spend all your money on overpriced
We
shit.
get dollars. We save you dollars on a lot of stuff.
How do you spell guitars?
Guitars, drums.
Let me hear that one again.
Drums.
Look at him.
Sam Ash's pre-inventory sale month. Save on hundreds of guitars, drums,
Guitars.
amps,
Guitars.
musical instruments of all kinds.
Brooklyn.
Oh, look,
Paramus, right at the bottom,
Route 4,
Paramus.
yeah. But we sell guitars. We sell guitars.
The sale
Guitars.
ends August 30th.
I brought my Slingerland drum set at Sam Ash Music in Paramus, New
Really?
Jersey. And Perry, the one time we drove into the parking lot screaming because there was construction everywhere.
Yeah.
I hated that turnoff.
Yeah, because it was just over. As soon as you get under the overpass, you got to take a hard right. There's only one way in
right.
and one way out. Yeah.
And if somebody's backing out of their
insane.
spot,
You
you're
missed
going to hit
it.
them.
You had to do a big U-turn, right? Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Well, we pulled into the lot and there was like construction pylons in the way. It was just like we just got a spot, but oh man, that's what people make fun of New Jersey for. That little part right there.
Yeah,
Getting off is hard enough,
the
but
Jersey,
getting on
the
was-
Jersey crew down the shore, you know, the situation. You know?
I didn't go to the Jersey Shore for like 10 years because one time I did go in the 80s. The water, I'm not kidding, it was slick. I woke up with a sore throat.
Yeah,
it's like I'm not going there again. But they cleaned it up. You know?
Yeah. Well, I've been
Don't
to
dump on
Sandy
New
Hook
Jersey.
too a few times, and just sitting in the surf, in the surf chair
At the
And,
nude beach.
No, not that one.
Yeah, come on.
But you can see New York City off to
oh,
the
please
left.
stop.
You can see New York City off to the left.
Yeah,
You know, it's
you're
like-
just there
it's
hanging in,
very
you're
rocky.
flapping in the breeze.
It's very rocky too.
You
Singing
sunblock.
My Ding-a-Ling.
It's very rocky.
crawling to the water on your belly.
I'm on all fours now.
I'm gonna go to Sam Ash and buy a guitar.
Guitar. We get the largest selection of guitars, drums, and cymbals in the tri-state area.
I'm gonna go buy a guitar from Sam
It all
Ash.
fell off a truck.
Were they related to Crazy Eddie?
I was just going to say Crazy Eddie's. In through one door, out through the other.
Actually, though, Crazy Eddie was cheap. Sam Ash wasn't.
Well, it's like,
All right, Music Relish
it comes
listeners,
in the
Crazy
front
Eddie's-
door, you sell it at the back door at a discount.
it's like-
you know,
It's like shrimp and lobster.
doesn't matter. It's all profit.
Listen, Music Relish Show listeners, Crazy Eddie was a East Coast retailer that was completely corrupt from day one.
Yeah.
There was no intent on doing any honest business there.
In fact,
from
he
the
escaped
get-go.
to Israel, and I think they extradited him. I'm not sure.
Well, I think
And Antar.
sadly, his daughter was dying, and he came back. I think he had just surrendered himself. But yeah, there's a documentary about it. Crazy Eddie's. The commercials were hysterical. We should play some Crazy Eddie TV commercials.
Yeah.
Barry.
We'll find some. Yeah.
I used to buy records there.
Be right back.
And all the records were cutouts. And it was years later when I learned what cutouts were. It was Jim, what's his name? Bootlegging MCA Records, Jimmy Iovine. He was in the whole thing. They
Why
were
are you always,
bootlegging
you're
their own
always
stuff.
implicating Jimmy Iovine in something? You're
I know.
suspicious of him.
Read that book, Hitmen. Listeners, there's a book
Yeah.
called Hitmen about the music industry. You'll read a lot about Jimmy,
You talked about the book, yeah.
Vinny, the chin.
Gigante.
Yeah,
Watch
him.
Mark. Easy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm as a friend. I'm saying just.
But I didn't know what the cutouts were. I said, "Oh, they couldn't sell them." No, they were actually bootlegging them and cutting them. And so, yeah.
Okay.
And Jimmy Iovine
And Jimmy Iovine-
escaped that. He never got in trouble for
Really?
it. Never got.
I would think he wouldn't have to do that.
He got involved in some deals that he couldn't get out of. That's what I
Okay.
think happened.
You know. Also, in the making of Damn the Torpedoes, he didn't think Stan Lynch was the proper drummer.
Right.
He was
Right.
wrong. He was wrong.
For all his correct decisions, he made a lot of bad ones too. But no one's
Well, I mean, like, come on, think about it. I mean, how many records have artists made, producers made? You know, this is, a lot of producers have albums they don't talk about that didn't sell. They believed in it.
Every producer has a River Deep, Mountain High. You know?
Yeah. We can talk about that.
What are you
song.
guys talking about? Producers? Who?
Something like hit and misses. Tom Dodd must have produced a turkey or two.
Oh, he did.
Phil Spector, Phil Spector, River Deep, Mountain High, which I still think is not a good song.
Neither do I.
Darlene Love's version of that is far superior to Tina Turner's. I'm sorry.
And Phil Spector thought that was going to be a worldwide smash hit.
Yeah.
It did well in the UK, not surprisingly.
Not surprisingly, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think his last big thing was like the Righteous Brothers. But you listen to the Righteous Brothers, with the reverb. I mean,
Yeah, really. Yeah.
I mean, that was, even like All Things Must Pass. What if Spector did not produce All Things Must Pass?
What if he
Tom
didn't
Dowd
do
produced it?
Let It Be? by the Beatles with
Yeah,
the
good
angelic
point.
choirs,
Good-
and
yeah,
you
good
know what I
point.
mean. And
Yeah.
It's
even,
ironic.
even Imagine's not. It's not a great sounding record. It's not.
No, it's. I think it's pretty bad sound.
It's kind of. Yeah, I do too. I do
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah. In fact,
I
most
think,
of
I think Lennon
Lennon's
had a
albums-
bad sound, and I think had a bad sound.
Well,
in
that
the
was his
70s.
home studio too, and just because he was one of the first guys to have a state studio like that,
Yeah.
right? Doesn't mean it sounded good. You know,
Tittyhurst Park. That was it called.
Tittenhurst Park. Yeah, yep.
But when he went up to Bridges and whatever, the one with
Walls and
whatever
Bridges.
gets you Walls and Bridges, even
Bridge and
that's
Tunnels.
recorded in California, and he's got 50,000 musicians on whatever gets you through the night.
Sounds like shit.
Sounds like shit. Yeah, yeah.
It
It, sounds
really-
like you know what it sounds like? It sounds like the first
Whatever gets you
Springsteen
through the
album.
night.
Too much drums.
Oh,
too
John
much
Lennon.
playing.
Yeah. Why doesn't Stephen Wilson remix that? Or
they have to ask
Sean?
Because
Sean,
it's-
They should
be
remix. I'm sure. Have they remixed Walls and Bridges? That's the Lennon album. It's almost irrelevant now.
I think that was just re-released. I believe,
Did it
right?
really?
Isn't that the one they did the deluxe box set? I think so.
Apple. That's Apple related, so therefore, Giles
Apple
Martin will
Dapple.
remix it. Yeah,
Yeah, so-
Giles, you said?
Gillies Martin. Yeah,
Giles.
yep.
Gillies. Mickey Gillies Martin.
Yep. Oh wow.
Get
Something
some extra
happened. My
stuff.
battery's almost dead, dude. We've been on the show, man.
Battery dead on what?
I don't know. Somehow I got disconnected somewhere, and it's.
You didn't plug in your computer. I did. Did you
Yeah.
see?
So let's do one more. We got one more thing. Hang on.
To me, flying is one of life's great pleasures. It satisfies a certain thirst, and it builds up another, a more than one beer thirst.
Beer and plane.
A Schaefer.
George Kennedy.
George Kennedy.
Schaefer always gives me what I want from a beer, a crisp, smooth taste that's always satisfying. Beer after Schaefer beer.
Is that Elliot Gould?
Because beer and piloting a plane go good together.
Yeah, right.
What's George Kennedy doing in a Shaver commercial? Who's the other actor that he looked familiar?
I don't know. I have no idea. But there was a Lowenbrow commercial. Remember? Let's climb a mountain and then drink beer on top of the mountain. Yeah, that's a bad idea. How are you going to get down? You know.
Well, in Asheville, they have Race to the Taps where you run to breweries. I'd throw up.
Wow. Well, we have an outro.
Careening
Lou.
into traffic.
We have an outro.
We have an outro. Well, this has been the Music Relish Show,
Yeah.
episode 110.
Yeah.
Actually, today is May 19th. My birthday's in 3 months from today, so start buying my gifts.
Okay.
My
Now.
birthday's in less than a month.
A lot of
so
sales
start
going
buying
on.
mine. Start buying mine.
Wait. Perry's birthday is this month.
Oh, we better start buying Perry's.
It's coming up like a flower. Coming up.
Do you like cinder blocks? I buy cinder blocks
Sure,
from a guy named
sure,
Rocco.
Yeah, love 'em.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
love 'em.
I customize them.
Yep.
Rocco puts my face in them.
Music Relish Show. Yeah.
We have an outro.
Here we go.
Jeez. Thank you to our subscribers.
Yes.
Like us, subscribe to us. Email at us at musicrelishshow@gmail.com. Hello, Davey.
Go to church. Awesome picture.
Awesome.
It's Deer Hunter.
What is that all about? Midwest Rock Festival. Buffy
looks
St.
like,
Marie. See that on Friday, Lou?
That
Buffy
fraud.
St. Marie. Led Zeppelin.
That's fake Indian.
This had to be the late 60s, right?
69, right?
What,
I never heard of the Midwest Rock Festival written in like in Sharpie. Whatever.
Yeah.
That looks like extremely thrown
Well,
together.
they hired an artist to do it, and that's the cool thing, you know.
And that guitar
it's
player
not-
looks like he had
it's
a
not done
stroke.
by AI. Now it'd be done by
Oh.
AI, you know.
Oh, of course not.
Yeah.
That looks like Alice Cooper with a guitar.
Why is his mouth sagging? That's not.
I don't know. So who else is you got? Buffy St. Marie,
Blind
Who else we got?
Faith, Delaney and Bonnie, MC5,
Blind Faith, Ginger,
Jeff
Who?
Beck.
Beck?
John Mayall.
John Mayer, John Mayer,
John Mayall, yeah.
John Mayer.
But no Grateful Dead. Damn it.
Who else is on there? Well, I can't read that. You got the controls there, Perry. Who else is on there?
I
Jeff
can enlarge it, dude.
Jethro Tull,
No, I
MC5,
can't. Okay.
Johnny Winter,
Johnny Winter,
Joe Cocker and the Grease Band.
the Grease Man. That's
Zephyr.
Joe Cocker's band, the Grease band.
Sweetwater. They were the first band at
Sweetwater.
Woodstock. Yeah.
There's a Netflix show about them.
Yeah.
Or there's a movie about them.
Maybe they're going to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, that means.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. No, Zephyr
Like,
played.
like the
That was
Miami
Tommy
Show
Bone.
band.
Oh, look at David Gilmour. He looks like a model.
Wow.
Whatever you're listening to us on, just click like if you liked it. We're not telling you to do that. We're asking you.
Who's that?
Sharon Osbourne.
She's British.
Must be cold.
Helen Mirren. The
Oh,
great
wow.
Helen Mirren. Yeah.
Perky.
It's Steve Gadd.
Steve Gadd.
I look like John Candy and the Queen haters.
No, stop. No, you don't. You're moving way too much.
They're great. Dogzilla.
Who's that fat guy?
That's Will Michael Smith.
Looks like you're playing a Hammond.
Is that Perry?
That's me behind my gear. Yeah, my vocal gear. Yeah.
First gear. It's all right.
I think that's Deep
Fred
Purple,
Leppard.
right?
Deep Purple.
Deep nipple.
Hey, there it is.
It's Mark's signature guitar. Buy one. So they're only $5,000.
Well, it's Jerry Garcia's signature guitar. It's
It comes with tobacco stains. They add tobacco stains into it.
A guy I used to be in a band with a guy named Nick. Lou, we used to work with him. The guy named Nick. Another one.
Nick Reynolds.
Let's just noodle over everything. you
Yeah,
know?
everything.
Like, let's just noodle over the song.
All the vocals, everything. Noodle.
I love
don't learn
noodling.
about songwriting and
Nah,
don't learn about
noodling's the
any of
way to
that. Just
go.
fucking noodle.
Why songwrite when you can noodle? It's a great way to pass the whole day.
Husky and
Noodle
starch.
strudel. Husky and
Is he wearing a yarmulke? Oh no.
I could have. I'm Husky. He's starch.
They could have been undercover at a yeshiva. What song is this, Lou?
It's called Eyes of the Sun.
Good.
Perry's not going to believe this, but this is the song that I'm going to re-record for my EP.
Cool. Look at that.
That's the only Perry. That's the first thing I recorded moving to North Carolina.
Really?
Wow.
And that thing's from 2008, and I was trying to get some. I got that part down. Anyway.
Wow.
Anyway. Anyhow.
This picture's making me dizzy.
I feel like I need new glasses.
Yeah.
No, it's got
can't focus.
it's got a haze on it. Yeah.
Your filter, it makes us look younger. That's going to the Jersey Shore.
You the what do you call it? The Jessica Alba effect.
That was the Music Relish Show drive-in theater.
What's the Jessica Alba effect?
What does that mean?